We say that we want to become healthier and then stuff our mouths full of pastries. We say that we want to build a business, retire our parents, or whatever your financial goals are, and then immediately proceed to spend the entirety of our free time scrolling on Instagram. And by the end of it, of course, we hate ourselves. And although ambitious, we recognize ourselves for what we truly are: undisciplined bastards. But why do we want one thing and then immediately do something that goes completely against everything that we would need to do in order to reach that thing, in order to achieve that thing? Well, it's probably due to, as Seneca masterfully mentioned in his 123rd epistle letter to Lucilius, the conflict, the everlasting battle, eternal battle between virtue and pleasure. So in this video, I'm going to go a little bit more in depth on one of the ideas of this epistle, that what we consider pleasurable should be identical to what we consider honorable. And as always, please read Letters from a Stoic by Lucius Seneca. It is one of the greatest works of Stoic philosophy, maybe the greatest, even though it's kind of like in competition with like Meditations, and an amazing manual on how to live correctly. So yeah, and also remember that I'm like 3 solar systems away from even touching the tip of the iceberg's tip when it comes to this book. So yeah, buy your copy wherever you can find it. First off, let's look at what Seneca himself says in the epistle. How much better to follow a straight course and attain a goal where the words pleasant and honorable have the same meaning. This end will be possible for us if we understand that there are 2 classes of objects which either attract or repel us. We are attracted by such things as riches, pleasures, beauty, ambition, and other such coaxing and pleasing objects. We are repelled by toil, death, pain, disgrace, or lives of great frugality. From the get-go, it's pretty obvious that if you take this advice word for word, you're going to end up miserable. So let's fine-tune it a little bit. Eating junk food is obviously kind of pleasurable, but having a healthy diet can be pleasant if you do it for a long enough amount of time and correctly. Staying on the couch for like 8 hours every single day can obviously be pleasurable. Going for a run can also be pleasant. Ruining your sleep is kind of pleasurable in the moment. Waking up at the right hour because you went to bed at the correct hour is obviously pleasant with the right mentality. My advice: remove the word pleasurable from your everyday vocabulary. It is a word reserved for spouts of gluttony and indulgence, exclusively reserved for when you go to Paris, to your grandmother's house, or when you get off track, when you get completely distracted from your goals, and then just call it a break. Do things that are pleasant. Yes, because they are more mild, but that also means that they are the perfect balance between honor and pleasure. And just as good old Seneca said almost 2,000 years ago, those 2 words should have the same meaning if you want to live a meaningful life. If you change your paradigm to be in accordance with this, which sounds cryptic, but it basically just means asking yourself before indulging in something, is this noble? Is this actually honorable? Is this like something I would do if I were in accordance with like the person that I want to become in the future? If you actually ask those things before immediately indulging, not only will you stop being undisciplined and, worst of all, feeling undisciplined, but you will also become something so much greater. You will start doing so many things in accordance with what you want to do. You will stop procrastinating. You will stop feeling like an unproductive piece of trash, and you will actually do something with your life. More things with your life. Just imagine a world where honor and pleasure have the same meaning, where the things that are best for you are also the things that you crave. Now, it is crucial for me to note that discipline is still extremely vital. And an amazing example of this is none other than David Goggins. Yes, the book is in Romanian. Please do not judge me. I couldn't find it in English. I am not monolingual filth. Moving on. This guy is slightly masochistic. I do think that he actively enjoys pain. But to him, putting yourself in painful situations is honorable because it means pushing your limits. And he puts himself in danger, yeah, so who knows if it's really self-love or honor or whatever. But to him, in a world that only he can completely understand, it's honorable and thus pleasurable. But I am sure that if he were the type of person to see staying home all day on the couch and eating cupcakes nonstop as something honorable, genuinely honorable, he would do that instead. Or if he wasn't as disciplined as David Goggins is, he would do that instead. So that means that we're talking about two very different types of pleasure. We're talking about pure pleasure, unadulterated pleasure, pleasure that comes from, I don't know, indulgences like sugar and laziness and vice in general, and honorable pleasure, something that comes from virtue like discipline and willpower and what else? Justice, whatever virtue you want to signal out and choose. So yeah, there are multiple types of pleasure, but in his world and like the worlds of people in like higher circles and like the aristocracy and stuff like that, the only kind of pleasure that actually exists is honorable pleasure. Finally, let's see how you can actually implement this mindset into your life. First off, before eating the Happy Meal, before not going for the run, before doing anything that goes against your goals, ask, is this honorable? Is this like the right thing to do? Should I be doing this? And if the answer is no, find something else that is pleasant and also worth doing. Instead of scrolling on Instagram, go read some Seneca. And lastly, stop looking at bad habits as treats and rewards, and at good habits as if they were like the plague and just chores that you would never want to do under regular conditions. No, those chores are the actual pleasant part, not pleasurable. Those chores are the actual pleasant part. And those bad habits make you something that you would prefer not be. People on self-improvement, which is basically just philosophy put into practice, practical philosophy, oftentimes focus primarily or even solely on, action, on doing the things that they need to do. But every once in a while, it's good to take a break and actually change your mindset a little bit. Because if you actually take, I don't know, a day or two, a couple of months or years to actually adopt this mindset, you will eventually be indulging in what other people struggle to force themselves to do. And that is only one of the 1,000 things that Stoicism can teach you. So yeah, get to reading. If you're interested in more videos like this, subscribe and join my little movement of reviving the humanities and the social sciences. And also, comment down below, what's your biggest struggle with discipline? I would be pleased, ecstatic to know. I'll see you later.